Welcome back to the Stick 'em Up podcast. Brundi, we are still in the dead in the middle of the off season. We got a little bit of news here. Not a ton, but this might end up being a shorter one. But I guess if we're gonna jump right into it, where do you want to start? Do you want to start with some of these extensions? We got a couple of trade rumors going around. What are you thinking?
Let's start with the signings, I think, right? And then move over into the trade rumors. I don't know anything about these trade rumors.
True,
This
I
is
did just
something
find
you've all
these.
got, so I don't know what to expect for that. But again, we've only got two confirmed signings right now, so I say we dive into those and go from there.
Sounds good to me. The first one we'll get to here, Carolina. This one's making a lot of raising a lot of eyebrows around the hockey sphere. Jackson Blake got signed to an 8-year extension with an average cap hit of 5.1 mil over those 8 years. We were talking a bit about this before we started recording, just because this one's a bit complicated because obviously, the AAV stays the same all the way through. It's 5.1 for the full 8 years. However, he's actually making $45 million over this deal. For some quick math there, that's, I believe, 5.6 mil per season or something
Around
like
in there,
that.
yeah, something like
Yes.
that.
Yeah, 5.625 should be the AAV, but there is some money deferred in this contract to keep the cap hit down. So they're paying him more than he's counting against their cap, which for those who remember, Frank Vetrano got a contract like that either late last year or early this year with the Ducks. And the league pretty quickly said, hey, nobody do this. And even more recently, it was announced that uh, it will not be allowed going forward once the new CBA kicks in next offseason. So this is a very interesting topic to discuss in that regard. But before we get too far into that, I'll just ask you: this is a guy who's played one full NHL season. He looked pretty damn good in it. But what are your thoughts on over 5 mil a season for 8 seasons?
I mean, if it's the way the NHL works nowadays, right? Where players, can play only 1 year in the league, and teams already hand out those big contracts to them in hopes that it works out in the long term. And it's kind of looking like more and more as of lately. A lot of those deals pan out to actually look pretty good in the end. And for a guy
More
like
seem to
Jackson
work
Blake,
for sure.
I mean, 80 games played in his first full season. He went 17 and 17 for 34 points. In the playoffs, 15 games played, went 3-3. So, what is that? He's now played 96 total career games in the NHL between regular season and playoffs. Dead even, 20 goals, 20 assists, 40 points. Not the most impressive numbers, but when you take into account that, this is a guy that's just coming into the league and in my opinion, at least, and I'm sure a lot of others, only going to get better. So 5.1 per year, like for a guy that could end up being a valuable piece in your top six, it's pretty nice. Pretty nice deal for Carolina, at least. For Jackson Blake, well, might have left some money on the table, but hey, maybe he just loves playing in Carolina.
Yeah, and that's pretty much how I'm thinking of it a lot. There's a lot of people being like, this is too much for a guy who has not proven himself, but he's one of those players that you watch him play and like he's not scoring just out of nowhere. It's not just kind of happening for him. Like he's
Hmm.
he's making a lot of this stuff happen. He's a good play driver. Like I really do think he's gonna end up being a pretty solid player for them. So I definitely think this is going to be a good deal for them long term. What are your? Do you expect anything to come uh, from the fact that not only are they doing what the league told people not to do and deferring salary, but they're going to be doing it for since the extension of 8 years kicks in next year. They're going to be dealing with this for 9 seasons, despite a CBA saying as of next year you can't do this.
Yeah, I mean they made it very clear that, after the Toronto deal, like you mentioned, that they didn't want teams doing this, and they didn't want teams taking advantage of this, and they made quick work to make sure that the next CBA will be shut down. Um, we've seen teams get penalized and have to forfeit draft picks and whatnot for less. So the fact that they made it very clear, and Carolina quickly kind of went against it and said we're going to do it. Um, I don't know, makes you wonder because it's not fully in effect yet that you can't do it. But I wonder if maybe the league does punish them in some ways because again, they made it clear that they didn't want this being a pattern going forward. Now, if Carolina does it, and uh, the more I actually talk about it, you have to hit them with some sort of punishment. I think because if you don't, other teams are just going to follow suit and do it and be like, well, if it's not fully in effect next year and there's no punishment for it, let's take advantage of it. So I almost feel like you kind of have to make an example out of Carolina for this.
Yeah, that's pretty much exactly my thought. Since I kind of almost thought the Ducks might catch something for their Vetrano one, but they're a team that's not very close to the cap, so it's not gonna, be a controversy of them saving money when they're getting a ton of playoff success. It's a short-term deal. I believe the Vetrano deal was 2 or 3 years, so that wasn't much either. And you know what? They also haven't moved him, correct? I believe they still have him.
Yeah.
We were wondering if he might get traded, to the Oilers for the playoffs or something. Maybe somebody in the league went over and said, "Hey, you know, because we think this AAV on this contract is shady, you got to keep this guy for the full deal." Maybe that's a part of the reason why they didn't move him. So I thought they might catch flack, but it seems like, if it hasn't been brought up now, I doubt a much is going to come from it. I really do think, I don't know if the Hurricanes really saw it this way, but I think Bettman and the league are going to look at this as they're calling our bluff. They don't think we're going to do anything. They think they're above the law, and
I mean,
I
Anaheim,
think that
you
doesn't
can't
sit well.
punish because they were the
No.
first ones to do it, and it's like you can't fault them for it's the same way as like
Yeah, they
you
said
know
don't do it afterwards. So,
exactly right. They were the ones that kind of found the loophole, and it's like, all right, congrats, you figured it out. Thankfully, it's not a Leo Carlson, a McTavish, or something like that. It's again, no disrespect to Frank Fratano, but he's not like a core piece of the Ducks for the next 15 plus years. And it wasn't an 8-year deal. Like this is an 8-year deal on a guy, so it's an extension. It's gonna kick in
that
next
it
off
kicks in
season.
when you're not allowed to
Yeah,
defer
and
money
it's gonna
anymore
take him
by the
until
rules.
till he's 30. 8 years, you're getting that kind of deal for a guy that again, you and I both think is going to be a core part of this Carolina team. So again, like I said, teams have been penalized for much less and had to give up first round picks, right? So if the league doesn't do something here, there's a good chance we maybe see some more teams follow suit and do so, and then
Well, I
what can a
mean,
league do at that point? Like you had your chance
who's
to
looking for an extension right now? Fucking Kirill
Bedard,
Kaprizov, Connor McDavid, Connor
Connor Bedard,
Bedard.
like
Dude,
yeah.
McDavid, he could be re-signed right now for an AAV of 3 mil, and then they could give him $200 million over the total contract. Like, you,
Yeah.
I don't think the Oilers would do that because the league would go nuclear on them.
Mhm.
But I think generally, a lot of the things a lot of the teams do that end up getting penalized by the league, I'm very much like, that's lame. When the Rangers tweeted out saying what Tom Wilson did a few years ago with his hit, when they said that was dirty and they want the league to do something, and they got fined a bunch of money, I thought that was lame of the league. You know what? I didn't even
Mhm.
necessarily think Ottawa should have lost a draft pick for the whole trade with Dadonov and the whole no trade list not being properly sent around. I think that's honestly should have been a league thing, but this, I'm on the league side if they go for him. I think
Yeah.
it. There's been a lot of signings and extensions made since the Vetrano one, and since really the Shohei Ohtani one in the MLB that really kind of made people aware that, oh yeah, I guess we could defer money and get around this stuff. The fact that none of these deals over the past several months have had deferral shows that these other guys are like, we're not going to try and rock the boat with that. We're not going to mess with it. And yeah, this feels like
And
they're getting in Gary's kitchen a little bit and saying, what are you going to do about it?
yeah, and the thing that I think also kind of bugs me, and this is just about like hockey fans in general because they're kind of all over the place, but it's like nobody's really being like, "Oh, can't believe Caroline did this," but like, and it's not even because of the no tax thing, but if like a Vegas did this, if a Florida, if a Tampa did this, people would be outraged because
Yeah.
a lot of people just now hate the teams that are in the no tax states. They're
Yeah.
just kind
Could
of
you imagine if Florida
like,
got Marchand back like at a mil a season and then just gave him the same amount deferred? People would
yeah,
lose their minds.
yeah, like
So
so the fact that just because it's Carolina, I think people are kind of like, oh, who cares? It's like
it's fine. They
it's
can't
not
break
about
through
the
the conference
team.
finals.
It's
Like,
oh yeah, true, but it's just about the fact of again, the league made a point about it, and they very clearly were quick to be like, no, we're gonna do it anyways. If the league doesn't do something, again, you're probably gonna see more teams do this, and then at that point, it makes the league look even worse if you allow one team to do it, but then you penalize others if they follow suit.
yeah.
You got
They
to kind of set
finally
that mark and
yeah.
say you don't cross this line. This is what we're doing. If you do this and come across the line, this is what's going to happen.
Like, they finally are in the new CBA having a way that deals with the LTIR loophole in the playoffs, at least much more than it's dealt with now. And immediately they could have another thing where, I don't think we would get a huge McDavid one or something like that. I doubt. But I think most teams would probably like 80% of their new contracts, they would, save 500K there, 500K there, 500K. Hey, I can get a
Yeah.
third liner worth $1.5 million.
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah,
Again, if they don't do something, we're probably going to see another one of these deals, and at that point, again, I just think it's scummy. Then if you punish another team if you give Carolina a pass. If you give Carolina a pass, you're
it would
gonna
have
have
to
to give
be
every team a pass.
it would have to be a long term and then like an egregious amount of savings on the AAV if the next team
Yeah.
got punished and Carolina didn't. Carolina
Yeah.
is only saving uh what is that, 525,000 against the cap with this deal. So like it's not a huge amount, but they are a team that this gives them extra cap space. They're consistently at the top of their division, playoffs every year, make it several rounds most years, at least one. Like for long term, like yeah,
Mhm.
this is just one of those things you got to do something about it.
Yeah.
And you
Yeah,
know what?
I'm fully on board with it. Yeah.
Even if the league just kind of went over Carolina's head and was like, we're going to talk with the Players Association because the Players Association, they don't really care about cap hit. They care about their guy getting their money, right?
Mhm.
So if the league can find a way to just be like, nope, the cap hit is 5.625, that would also, I think, be fair. And you know what? I still think that's a most likely ends up a good deal for Jackson Blake anyway for the next
Yeah.
8 years, 9 years, including the last year of his ELC. So,
Mhm.
if Carolina gets out without getting a fine or a draft pick taken or something like that, yeah, I think that's probably what's going to happen. But we'll have
Yeah.
to wait and
I
see.
think you got to, but again, all speculation. We'll see how the league handles it. I'm sure they're already in talks of like, do we do something about it? And if so, what are we doing? Um, maybe we'll get something here in the next little bit. Moving on to our only other signing. This one is a lot quicker because there's nothing shady going on with this one. I thought this guy had already signed in the last episode. I was wrong, but I think the day the episode came out, yeah, he did sign. So now I can actually officially say it. The New York Islanders have signed forward Maxim Siplikov to a 2-year, 2.25 AAV deal. They're big Russian there that's going to be there to protect and hang out with the little Russian they have now in Shabanov. So great move by the Islanders. I think Siplikov again. He's a guy that I think has a lot of skill and he has a really good shot. Just didn't use it as much as he probably should, and I'm hoping that maybe changes next year because when he's shooting the puck, he's actually a very effective player, and he's not afraid to throw the body around. And so I think he can be definitely an effective middle six winger for the Islanders for, I think, beyond this 2 years. But again, this is just kind of a bridge deal to kind of a
Make
big, like,
sure
all
you know
right,
what you have.
yeah, we see things are kind of working well. You got 2 years here to really prove it, and then we'll do something nice after potentially. So I think good deal for the player and good deal for the team.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like, it's pretty low risk. They're not up against the cap enough that 2.25 is gonna do much, and
Yeah, no.
if he even just mirrors what he did the last season, he's better than a 2.25 million player. So
Hmm.
unless he regresses, this is a good deal.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm right there with you.
One stat that I meant to bring up there regarding Jackson Blake's extension, just to show how good of a deal this really is. These are the top 5 players last season for on ice expected goals percentage. Uh, this is going in ascending order, so we'll start at number 5, go up to number 1. Number 5, Connor McDavid. Number 4, Leon Draisaitl. Number 3 is Tomas Hertl. Good for him. Number 2 is Jackson Blake, and number 1 is Zach Hyman.
Wow,
He was the
pretty
second
good.
player for on ice expected goals percentage last year, and like Draisaitl and McDavid are 4 and 5. Like that's
Yeah, he's in there with pretty good company.
so. I definitely don't expect him to stay up there. Don't expect him to be the second best player in the league next year, but that's that's
That's a
pretty good.
pretty good step for him though, especially in his first full year. Like, you know,
Those are the stats that they might look at when looking to resign a guy, and
yeah, think hey,
he
maybe he
passes
can keep it up.
he passes the
Just
eye
stay
test that
somewhere
goes
in
with
there.
it.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good.
Um,
I didn't hear about that.
yeah, I knew I had seen a screenshot of it somewhere, so I was just on Money Puck going around sorting by a bunch of different stats until I found it.
Yeah. Moving on here. There's kind of something you wanted to cover before we got into the trade rumors. I'll let you kick off that conversation here.
Yes, so this is a big one that's kind of hung over the NHL a little bit, and I Canada Hockey Canada as well for the past 2, it might be even up to 3 years at this point. But that's the 5 uh, Canadian World Junior team. Is that the 2018 team? Was
Yeah.
it? The 5 players being on trial for sexual assault, were all 5 of them were found not guilty by the judge. Those 5 players, of course, being Dylan Dubé, Carter Hart, Cal Foote, Alex Formanton, and Michael McLeod, who specifically had a couple of extra charges. The rest of them all had one charge each on sexual assault. They all found not guilty. McLeod had sexual assault, and I don't
I
remember the
can't
other
remember the
charges.
name of the other one. It was just one. It was just one other one.
Yeah, he had 2 compared to everyone else's 1. Both of his charges were not guilty. The single one for the other 4, all not guilty. Of course, that is what they found, and also not guilty does not mean fully innocent either. They do not have evidence to convict them, which you do need a lot of it. Like, it has to be overwhelming to
Mm,
convict people, because they would rather let the guilty go free than sentence an innocent person, which, as annoying as it is kind of how you have to do it. You can't be
yeah.
putting innocent people in jail. Like, that's
Yeah.
brutal. So um the league has already said, as of right now at least, all 5 players are not eligible to be signed by an NHL club. They can't be in the NHL. They can't be in the AHL. They can't have any NHL contract as of right now. The NHL Players Association is currently fighting because these guys all had ELCs at the time when this came out, so they are
Well,
all
not all ELCs.
they all had at least ELCs. Like, they had all signed NHL
Oh,
contracts at
yeah.
that point, so they all are part of the program, and so the Players Association is going to try and stick up for them and get them back because they were found not guilty. regardless
Mhm.
of what you believe. I think it's still looks a little sketchy on them. They don't sound like incredible stand-up guys, but there's a
Mhm.
huge difference between not being awesome and being a convicted sexual offender. So,
Yeah.
uh, it'll be interesting to see if any of these guys ever get back into the league. We saw last offseason the ban was lifted on the guys who were involved in the Chicago Blackhawks incident with Kyle Beach and everything. So, you know, we'll have to see if that gets lifted on them, what happens. But for now, they've been found not guilty, and at least you know this is like one of those things where it was in limbo for so long. Like
Mhm.
the amount of days where we got new info was probably around 20 some, even though this covered the span of like probably like 700 days or something. So
Yeah.
finally, we at least have a bit of a cap on that. I can't imagine this is going to go away. I think, there's some of them that are probably just not going to get back into the NHL. I think Formenton and Cal Foot were both kind of fringe players to begin with. I don't think
Yeah.
anyone's going to stick their neck out too hard to get those guys. Dylan Dubé was a bit of a depth guy, but I think, assumedly, if the ban is lifted at some point, somebody might take a flyer on him. Carter Hart looked like a great goalie. Somebody's going to go for him if the ban's lifted, I think, as long
Mhm.
as he doesn't fully give up hockey. Michael McLeod, which uh, in my opinion, he, definitely seems more shady than the rest of them. The other guys really seem to range from, you know, oblivious to just not smart about it. He seemed a little more malicious in some of the things we heard, but he also is, other than Hart, as out of the four skaters, probably the most skilled player. So there's still a good chance I think he gets picked up as well.
Yeah, it really just comes down to the league and um what they do. In my opinion, as of this moment right now, um, I don't know how long it'll take, but I think eventually the final decision will end up being that they're able to return to work, and by work being professional hockey players. Um, is it a thing of they come right back in, or maybe they need to complete some sort of thing? I don't know. Um, but I think whatever way it goes, I think at the end of the road it'll end up being if there's teams that are willing to sign these players and take a chance on them, I think the door will be open for uh, these guys to return.
Yeah.
Don't know how long it'll be. Don't know the steps, but from the way things have looked and from what we've seen in the past, I think um, at the end of the day, it'll be regardless of what people may vocalize and how they feel about it and all these other things. At the end of the day, the league's going to say, "Look, not guilty. We can't." They can't do much, and when they're like, hey, they're not guilty, I mean, I'm sure the league's going to do their due diligence and do any whatever investigation and deep diving into stuff that they need to, and they'll go from there. But again, I think at the end of the road, it'll be if you can land with a team and a team's willing to sign you, um, the door is open for them to
Yeah.
return. And I'm kind of
Eh,
with you. I think we're really only kind of going to be looking at the three you mentioned in Hart, Dubé, and McLeod.
yeah.
Formenton, I
Because
mean, retired. I don't know if now that he's was found not guilty. I don't know if he comes back and is like, all right, I'll pick up hockey again. Cal Foot again. He was a
a fringe
depth
seventh
defenseman guy.
defenseman.
So I think if
His
he
his
wants to maybe keep playing hockey, it's get overseas. And we've seen numerous former NHL players, that couldn't crack it, go over and have a long, successful career overseas and still make a good living. So I
Yeah.
think that
I
might be
believe
the
many of
road he
these
has to
guys have
take. So
played in the KHL, fairly recently after they got banned from the NHL. I think Dubé, McLeod, and I think it was Foot. I think they all were playing for a bit in the KHL already. So,
I
you know,
believe so. Formanton, I know, went over to the Swiss league. I think Carter Hart's the only one who didn't play at all.
yeah. And I haven't seen a ton of stuff. I don't have specifics, but from what I have seen, it does look like Carter Hart has been much more public about what he's been doing as of late than the other four. It sounds like he's been doing a lot of trying to uh, kind of atone and at the very least appear like he's trying to better himself. Obviously found not guilty, but he was still there, and I still imagine he doesn't feel phenomenal about it. It doesn't look like he has any concrete receipts yet, like he hasn't passed any classes or anything, but it definitely sounds like he's attempting to do the work here, which makes sense
Hmm.
because he definitely seems to be the one who stands to lose the most from this uh,
Yeah.
at this point. Because a starting goalie, a guy who looked like he could be elite in the future, uh, he could potentially make a lot of money. And I know a lot of people are just waiting for Edmonton to call him, but if he gets back to the NHL, I think the first team to call him is going to be the Flyers. They need a goalie so bad, and he also, on top of that, uh, probably has quite a few friends in there. He was with the team for 3 or 4 years.
Hmm. He was with
So,
them for a good stretch. So,
so
but yeah, I
we'll,
mean, as right now, again, kind of similar to what we mentioned with Jackson Blake and his, the Carolina Hurricanes. Um, all we can do is speculate and just sit around and wait for, you know, word from the league, I guess, on what's going to be happening next.
yeah, not really any possible updates until one of these guys does something newsworthy or the league decides to change their mind.
Hmm. Yeah, and like you mentioned, the NHLPA, the Players Association, is going to keep fighting for their guys, and they're going to keep
That's their
throwing out
job.
their yeah, that's what they do. It's players looking out for other players.
Yeah,
That's the way it goes. And again, a lot of people don't like it. It's understandable, but again, the fact at the end of the day is not guilty, and that's the way you have to
yeah,
treat it going forward. You can't be like, oh, you're guilty or this and this. It's it was
yeah. You don't have to
it was
like the
handled. It went
guys.
through the procedure,
Like,
but
like it
at the end of
was
the day,
it was found admissible evidence that all of them were there. Like they didn't conclude that nothing happened, but they concluded that everything that happened was consensual or at least seemed consensual. It was never because she did attest. She, you know, said things were consensual. There was a couple things she said not to do, which was stopped, which I think was really when the trial kind of became really open and shut. At that point, it sounded for a lot of people it was like, oh, well, they listened to stuff, so you know how bad
mhm,
was it? Which obviously it's much more complicated than that, but
yeah,
yeah, yeah, we'll have to see. I'm
that's all
curious
it
to
can do.
see if something happens soon. If this is one of those things where the NHL is like, all right, we gotta let the news settle a little bit. Tensions are high. Like, is it going to be one of those things where they wait a year, then next off season they can come back? Because that's
Yeah.
kind of the vibe I get. Unless the NHLPA really busts their balls, I expect the next bit of news about this to be next off season.
Yeah, I think that's probably a fair timeline for it. And again, the league can handle it so many different ways, and it can be you can return to work, but again, you got to
Yeah, because this is not like a
complete this
rule.
or
This is
whatever. You
just
got to
Bettman saying they're not eligible right now.
yeah,
He kind
and
of he
that's
kind
the
of
league
vetoed
just
it.
putting their stamp there and being like, all right, teams can't immediately line up and just sign these guys. Like we want to make sure that we do our due diligence and we're handling this appropriately as well. And
Yeah,
that's definitely the way that the league should be handling it. So,
yeah,
and obviously, there's people on both sides of this, and are those two sides ever going to come to a mutual agreement or understanding? Probably not. But at the end of the day, the league makes the final call, and we'll wait and see what they do with that.
Yeah. But moving on from that, it is nice that that is all wrapped up. We're not going to have to talk about the court side of it anymore. You know, whenever new stuff came up, we would talk about that a bit. It's nice that
And we
that's
wouldn't really
a
get much
little
either.
handled. No.
Like again, people and it. This is kind of why I stay away from the Twitter side of this, because people are throwing out a bunch of stuff, and it's like we don't know for sure unless you were in the courtroom. There's a lot of stuff that never came to light, and
Yeah.
so
You got to read
it's
the like very exhaustive, like exhausting to read, frankly, documents of what like they put out afterwards of what they found, because there's so many things that get spewed back out. They're like, well, this guy testified this, and it's like, yeah, that got thrown out. The judge ruled that was bad evidence from a bad source. Like,
mhm.
there's plenty of things that, you know, a clip of somebody saying something in the court will go around, and it's like, you took it out of context, or they didn't count that at all in the investigation. Like, there's
Yeah.
it's very complicated. So
And the hardest part is the people who read through it all will be like, "Well, I read it all in this and this," and then if you haven't read it, you're sitting there like, "Well, I don't know."
you don't
You could
know,
be
right?
telling the
Yeah,
truth, but I didn't read it all. Am I going to? No, because like you said, it's exhausting and there's so much. So
there's so much
again,
stuff. There's
if
dozens, often hundreds of pages of
yeah,
all the stuff that went on. So
and if you're someone who read it all, like good for you. That's impressive. But again, it doesn't automatically mean everybody's just going to believe you, because there's not many people that are going to take the time to read it in its entirety. There's just
yeah,
it's just the way it goes, and yeah, it's about it. We'll see what
yeah,
happens.
we'll see what happens. Um, moving forward, though, we do have a little bit of trade rumors to take a bit of a hard turn. Um, this is the one that you do not know about unless you have any other
Yeah,
trade rumors.
no, we've just got this, and then we've got a fun segment to wrap this one up. So
Yeah. So this involves a big player. This involves a player that we have talked about um, potentially getting moved. I've been pretty vocal that I think he should get moved, and that is Nazem Kadri. Nazem Kadri is not currently being shipped by the Flames, but they have both the Colorado Avalanche and the Toronto Maple Leafs knocking at the door. Both teams, it sounds like, are both going rather heavy at them, trying to get a deal made for Kadri to go to either Colorado or Toronto. But it sounds like Calgary is very okay keeping him, so they're gonna have to pay if they want him.
yeah, because it's one of those things, right, where they're not forced to have to move them.
Yeah,
Like
he just had the
they
best
can,
goal scoring year of his career last year.
yeah, most wrist shot goals in the entire league.
Yeah, we were just talking about that. So, and this would be, they would probably have to overpay a bit. And he's getting old. His contracts goes a bit long, but in the short term, oh, adding Kadri to either team would be nice. Like, what's the top three centers for both those two teams if they get him? Matthews, Kadri, Tavares on the
Tavares,
third line?
yeah.
That's pretty nice. And then in Colorado, you got Nathan McKinnon, Nazem Kadri,
Brock
and
Nelson.
Brock Nelson. Like, that's pretty good. So I'm interested to see if this goes anywhere, if a deal gets done uh soon at all during this offseason. Love to see a big deal go down in kind of the dog days of the late summer here. So we'll
Yeah, so I mean, those are two teams that I don't end up okay, well, I can't say I can't see, but with Toronto, right? The biggest thing is they don't have a first round pick in 2026, 2027,
right.
which that's tough. That sucks, especially if you're Calgary and there's a potential trade there. You can't get a first round pick back, and do you really want to be like, "Oh, we'll trade our first line center for a first round pick in 2028?" Probably not, because again, you're trying to do this retool on the fly. That first round pick doesn't do shit for you, and to most teams that first round pick doesn't hold a lot of value. That's just the way it is. And for
Yeah.
prospects, again, your Toronto Easton Cowan's kind of your top prospect, and
I don't think
is
they
he
want to
going to
move him.
be on a? He doesn't have the value of a Kadri.
Yeah.
Toronto's goal is to win now, and even if you're Calgary, it's like, yeah, Easton Cowan is a decent prospect. Whether you're high on him or low on him, he's still, I think, going to be an effective NHL player to some degree. But again, you're going to need more, and Toronto doesn't have much more piece outside of that. On the flip side, Colorado doesn't have a first round pick this year in 2026. They do have one in 2027, but again, a first round pick in 2026 is a lot more appealing than a first round pick in 2027 because of how good the first round and second round is going to be in the 2026 draft. But if you're Calgary, and I don't know if this is possible, there'd probably have to be a lot of moving parts. If Colorado really wants Kadri, and there's rumors
Oh.
that Martin Necas doesn't want to sign in Colorado,
Yeah.
maybe that's part of it. Again, like, I think if you're Calgary, you're having to give up more than just Kadri, obviously. But when you're looking at it, Martin Necas is like, all right, boom, just like that, we lose Kadri, but we have a younger first line center that we now build around. He's 26. He's eligible for an extension, so
It would have to be a sign and trade for Calgary.
yeah, like, you would need to know that he's coming there and he's signing, because look at Colorado now. It was like, the deal doesn't look awful for them. I mean, it still looks bad trading Rantanen, but it looks even worse now that it's like Martin Necas might not re-sign and he's a UFA. So it's basically, by the deadline next year, you might have to move him, or you just do what you did with Rantanen, and on a random Friday night out of nowhere, with no warning or anything, just boom, you trade him. Right? So I think that could be something maybe appealing for Calgary. What would a deal look like? Not entirely sure, but if Colorado really wants Kadri and Nate just doesn't want to stay there, if you can convince him to sign with you, maybe there's a deal somewhere in there that you could make work. Because again, Colorado has dick all for prospects. Like, the only things worth the value that are potentially to be moved out of there is that 2027 first round pick or Martin Necas.
Yeah. Yeah,
That's really it. That's all they got that they can move out the door.
yeah, they don't have a ton in the way of prospects, so it's hard to imagine what exactly they'd be sending back. But I mean, it doesn't have to be exactly a prospect. If they've got any good
Mhm.
players 24 or under that aren't
But that's the
nailed to the
thing, right?
floor.
If you're Colorado, you've got Ivan and Jack Drury. And again, if I'm Calgary, I'm probably not trading Nazem Kadri for either one of those two, along with a 2027 first. Unless, if you're Calgary, the goal is to tank for next season. But again, you maybe kind of tried to last year, but Dustin Wolf isn't going to let that happen. You're going to have to almost kind of do what St. Louis did and build through offer sheets, through trades. Like,
Free agency.
look at St. Louis's retool. They didn't have a top. I think their highest draft pick they had was Dvorsky, and he was 10th overall. Your
Yeah,
Calgary,
they never
your
never
top
went
one
below 10.
might be Zane Parekh at, what was he, 9th? I think the year prior in
Yeah, that
2024.
sounds right.
So if you're Calgary, you might have to take that approach and build through that way and be like, we're going to get some good players in the draft and whatnot, and we're going to have to definitely scout well and get some steals, because we're probably not going to get those top end draft picks. So it's interesting, though.
For a little bit of an idea, just because we don't have a ton to talk about this episode, we might as well
Yeah,
go a
we
little bit into
we
this.
can yeah, we can dive into all this. So
Obviously, Kadri is the one that it sounds like they would want. If a deal was going on with Colorado involving Kadri going one way, Necas going the other, uh, we still don't know what's going on with Rasmus Anderson. Rasmus Anderson is a UFA next offseason. It sounds like he wants to stay, but for some reason, it kind of sounds like the team doesn't want him to stay. They must just want whatever they think they can get for him, because, like, surely that's not a guy they want to get rid of. But I mean, if you're moving out Nazem Kadri and Rasmus Anderson, now I think you're getting Natchez Plus back.
Yeah, well, and the thing is, right, if you're Colorado, then you're probably gonna have to include Josh Manson. He's making 4.5 this year. And he does have an extension that kicks in next year at 3.95. It does look like he's got some kind of protection, so I just want to check what that is.
12 team no trade list. Unfortunately, I would
did you
have.
find that so quick?
If you just hover over the modified no trade on cap wages, it brings it up. Man, thank God cap wages showed up. Man, cap friendly went away, and I was lost for an off season.
See, you're a big cap wages guy. I'm a big Puckpedia guy. Both are good though.
Both are very
definitely
good.
saved us from
both have some better parts.
from the Washington
this one,
Capitals.
Yeah, this one just
How
looks similar to cap wages, so it was nice.
You know, everybody was like, "Oh, fuck the Capitals," but then everybody was hopping on the bandwagon from the team, myself included, even.
So, yeah, actually.
So it would have to be, then Josh Manson would probably have to go the other way because, again, you probably don't want you don't need Josh Manson sitting on the third pair. That's probably where Brent Burns is going to be. Anderson can slide on that second pair. And if you're rolling the right side of Cale Makar, Rasmus Anderson, Brent Burns, that'd be very fun.
That's pretty
if you're an Avs fan. So, I mean, if you do Kadri, Anderson with an extension for Natchez with an extension and Josh Manson, that's not terrible.
It's not terrible. I think Calgary could still maybe get a little more. Like maybe they have to retain a mil and a half on Kadri's deal.
Potentially, because I think you're right, down. Because the gap between
Anderson
and Manson, I think, is bigger than the gap between Kadri and Natchez. But again, Natchez is much younger. But then again, Natchez also kind of goes, Casper the Ghost in the playoffs, and that's also something to consider. And maybe if Calgary,
they retain
how many years does Kadri have?
I believe he has 4 more years. Yes, he has 4. So it goes a little long, but he's 34 and just had his best goal scoring season of his career. I believe he put up
if you're gonna trade him, like now is kind of the time.
Like how many
goals?
Want to
trade a guy when their values
at his 37 or something? Yeah, he had 35 goals this past year. Like,
so maybe Kadri with like 1.2 retained, kind of something similar like what San Jose did with Hertl. You're retaining to help out the Avs, but you're not retaining so much to where it like is going to hurt you down the future. So Kadri, say 1.25 retained with Anderson and with an extension to Colorado for Natchez with an extension, Manson, and maybe a 2027 second or something because Colorado's got 2 of those for some reason.
Yeah, either a decent draft pick or if you can swing to get Jack Drury or something like that. Maybe, just something to sweeten it a little bit for them. I think they'd probably be comfortable retaining up to about 2 mil if they had to, but obviously you'd prefer it to be less. So,
yeah, I think Colorado makes more sense than Toronto.
Yeah,
the team that would make the most sense to me would be Montreal because they need that second line center. But if it is between Colorado or Toronto, Colorado it makes way more sense in terms of fit, I think, honestly, and just what the team has to give up. Well, they do have Gavin Brindley. Like that could be intriguing for Calgary. Maybe they do have Gavin Brindley now.
Yeah, maybe that's a little bit of the missing piece there, something like that. But it'll be interesting to see if it happens. I do think it would be in the best interest of the Flames to get Kadri moved this offseason. I think he just had a good year. He's only getting older. The chances he has a better year than last year are pretty slim. So you'd only really be either losing or staying at the same trade value. So I think if teams are asking,
and even then he's going to be a year old,
you got to be open to it.
Like even if he puts up the same season, it's like, okay, but he's now another year older.
Now he's 35.
And now you're starting to be like, when's that regression, potentially coming? Yeah. I don't think it's going to be much because again, Kadri's, still a good skater. I'd still put him in I'd say above the league average, but he's not like one of those guys that like relies on his skating, and when he starts to slow down, it's like he's not an effective player. Like he's still going to be an effective player for a couple more years. Like it's not like he's going to be a guy that falls off and is just like shit. What happened
Yeah.
type of thing.
And if he starts falling off, a decent bit, but not too hard in 2 or 3 years, well, now you've only got 1 or 2 years left at
Yeah,
7, and that's if it's not retained on. And on top of that, the cap is supposed to be substantially higher at that point. So, 7 mil then will probably look kind of
well,
like
and
5 mil does right now.
in 3 years, Pittsburgh's probably going to need players just hit the cap for like what San Jose and Chicago are kind of doing right now. So you could probably still easily move on from it if need be down the road. In that last year, if he's not quite worth that contract anymore.
Yeah. It is worth noting Nazem Kadri has a full no move clause. I imagine he would be willing to go to Toronto or Colorado. I
Yeah.
think he just wanted to, get his payday, which is very fair. I think he'd love to go to Colorado, frankly.
I think Colorado
I
would be his preferred destination.
Yeah, but I do
Between
think
the
he would still waive it to go to Toronto if
Yeah,
a deal was in place.
I think so. Any other trade rumors or news that you've heard of, or is that kind of the
That's the main one for sure. There's been a couple other light rumors, but it feels like it's nothing more than people just wanting to talk in the off season.
yeah, fair, nothing super concrete or
Yeah,
anything like that?
I do believe he announced the other day Nicholas Backstrom is going to play in a Swedish league or a Finnish league.
Yeah, he's going back over to Sweden, the team he started out with over there.
So he'll be off doing that. Does he have term left on his deal?
No, he's off the books. I'm pretty
He's
sure,
a
right?
he's a full free agent.
Yeah.
Okay, I wasn't totally sure, but I was like, I was a bit confused by that. I thought he was trying to like collect an LTIR paycheck, but still go play in a different league.
Yeah. No, he's off the books now. He's a free man from the NHL. He can go back home and do whatever he wants.
Damn,
Um,
that's gonna be a whole new team. Backstrom. I mean, he was already not playing, but Backstrom gone. Sounds like this is gonna be the last year of Ovechkin. That
yeah,
Capitals
most
squad all of a
likely.
sudden. I mean, you have the best goal scorer of all time for 20 years, and all of a sudden he's gone, and his partner in crime's gone. Like you kind of got to find an identity for the squad. I don't know what the Capitals are outside of Ovechkin, really.
Yeah, and we talked about him lost like a lot over this past season and the great year they had, but also how good their drafting has been, how good some of their prospects are coming up, guys that have already made the jump like Alexei Protas and Mick Michael, how good they're starting to look, and you're starting to kind of see the shape of the future that they're building. But again, it's like we still don't know what the identity of the team is going to be, outside of Ovi when once Ovi's gone, right? Like
Yeah,
you just don't know, and we'll have to see what happens there. Because again, like that's going to be definitely a switch up. That's a over 20 years of Alex Ovechkin hockey in Washington, and to now see him not there, yeah, it's gonna be something. You know, what'd be
it's
sick? I thought about this the other day. If Ovi retires at the end of at the end of this upcoming season, the 25-26 season,
right.
it would be so sick if just opening night, whatever their first home game of next season is for Washington, you retire his jersey then. Because you see lots of teams will do like just a random game in the middle of like December or January, and like to bring fans in, fair, but like that'd be so sick to just be like, we're not even gonna play one game post Alex Ovechkin where he's nowhere around. Like it'll be like once he's done, boom, you're right in the rafters. I think that'd be cool.
That'd be pretty
Probably won't
cool.
happen, but I think that'd be cool to be like the world. He's always here. He's always part of the team, and that kind of thing. I think that'd be really cool.
You know what?
Washington, you should do that.
I would love that. Just first home game, do it. I would love it even more if they could schedule it so that it's against the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
That would be an all-timer moment to have them raise his jersey up and have a big celebration for him and have, Crosby go over and give him a handshake and a hug. Like, I think that would be an all-time moment
That
for
would
sure.
be that would be really cool. I'm actually gonna
That
pull it
there
up here.
there's another
Um,
team where who knows what that squad's going to look like once Crosby retires. Like, there's some
yeah,
teams that they have these franchise icons, but they can find that way to transition to the next group. Stamkos leaving the Lightning, like, sucks, and that's a big thing. But also, you still got Kucherov, Vasilevsky, Hedman, etc. I Who's number two to Ovi? Like, it was Backstrom for a long time. Don't know. I guess John Carlson, but like
boo, dude. The league.
that's
I pulled up Washington's schedule here to wrap up this upcoming season, the 25-26 season. April 11th, they play in Pittsburgh. April 12th, the following day, they play at home versus Pittsburgh. Oh, and then just 2 days after to wrap the season up on a random Tuesday, you go play in Columbus.
didn't they do the same like a very similar thing this past season?
Yeah,
Because I remember people were wondering, "Oh, is Ovi gonna break the record in a road game against Columbus?"
yeah.
They just had like that one weird game in there, and it was
But that would have been
surrounded by
cool to
like
just
Penguins games and home games.
yeah, knowing that it's gonna be like Malkin's last season and Ovi's like, man, to end it a home and home to wrap it up on a Saturday, Sunday, that would have been sick. That would have been cool.
Yeah, I still feel like we got a little bit robbed by Ovi not breaking the record at home. That's still like
Yeah,
the ceremony, everything. It was good, but like, and the place still erupted when he scored, despite him being the away team.
would
It
have been
didn't
a
erupt.
lot.
It didn't erupt the way that it would have with the Caps
Yeah,
in their home
if it
barn.
yeah,
Especially, you got that iconic siren going. That would have
would
been
have been
great.
something. But we are at that point now where we are moving on into our final segment. Braden, this is something we haven't done quite before. This is something new.
Oh shit, we got new stuff.
Um, for if any of you, and I'm for those listening, if you've been around long enough, you know that I'm a big fan of doing stuff with AI to spice things up and have some fun here. And I saw the idea of it. I saw the results. I tried it. We got very similar results, and I was like, hey, this would be fun to do. So what we're going to be doing here is I have a list of what AI has predicted for the top 10 NHL players in the year of 2035. So 10 years from now, who does AI predict will be the top 10 players in the league? And it's up to you to try and figure out, pretty simple, who do they think are going to be the top 10 players? And if you want
Okay,
to do a little more fun, you can also try and predict when you guess a player where on the list they may be.
okay. So this is in 10 years, so 2035.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And I will say, just to help you out a little bit, because this could be a little bit tough. You might need to know a little bit about some outside prospects coming up, because there is 2 players on this list that are not even drafted. And again, there's 10 years from now, there's probably going to be guys that we've never even heard of that might be in the top 10. But this is going off of who we know is in the hockey world right now, type of thing. So, but there is 2 players that have not even been drafted yet that they have on here.
All right. Well, I think I've got a couple ideas on who those might be. Okay, so the year is 2035. The 10 best players in the league. There is a chance that there might be some goalies on the list, but I'm not going to think about that unless I have to near the end. Let's just go with some of the more obvious ones. How old is McDavid? He's pretty freaking good. I'm going to say Connor McDavid.
Connor McDavid is 8. They still believe
Oh,
he will be a top 10 player in the year of
yes, sir.
2035.
I wasn't sure if I should guess the situation or like the placement of them on the list. I was gonna guess 9, so I was pretty close to what I was thinking.
He'll be 38. But I mean, hey, look at Crosby. A lot of people still say Crosby's a top 10 player in the league.
Yeah, who knows? McDavid might win 5 Selkies in a row late in his career, and we just don't know it yet.
Yeah, anything's possible with McDavid.
If he wanted to win the Selkie, he could freaking win it. Imagine if all he was doing was back checking, nobody would score on him. He's too fast. Let's go for Connor Bedard. He's got to be top 3 or top 5, I would guess.
Not top 3, but he is top 5. They have him at number 5.
Okay,
they have
interesting.
Connor Bedard at number 5.
Let's go Macklin Celebrini.
Celebrini, they have it 3. They have Celebrini in the top 3 in the year of 2035.
The year of our Lord, 2035. 2 spots above Bedard. Don't let any Blackhawks fans see this.
They might not be happy.
Very interesting. I'm wondering.
Those are kind of the three layups that you could assume would be there from what we know right now, at least in the league.
You've said that you already gave me that hint that 2 of these guys have not been drafted, correct?
Technically 3, actually.
3. Yikes! 3. I had 2 solid picks locked in. The third one might be tough. Gavin McKenna has got to be on there. I wouldn't be surprised if they have him number 1.
Gavin McKenna is in a nice little sandwich in between Celebrini and Bedard at number 4.
Wow. Okay.
I was kind of shocked by that one.
Are there any on here that are like really shocking? Like you think like the AI is totally out to lunch?
Potentially. Yeah, potentially.
One that so it's like probably like a bit of an outside pick, but like it's not ludicrous, right?
Yeah, kind of. Yeah,
it's not saying Crosby at age 48 is going to be there. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Let's go for Landon DuPont. I believe his draft year is either 2 or 3 years out still.
Projected first overall pick in 2027. Number 1.
Wow.
As a defenseman, they believe in the year of 2035. AI, that he will be the number 1 player in the NHL.
I mean, it's definitely possible. How close is Cale Makar to being the best player in the league?
Yeah.
He's in everybody's conversation.
Yeah, he's cracking the top. Everybody's pretty much top 5 now.
And not only that, but, he's that damn good. And he went 4th. Like, he wasn't the consensus best guy in his draft. Landon DuPont, I've known that name for at least a year and a half, 2 years. And he's getting drafted, what did you say, 2027? 2 more years from now or 3? Like,
2 more drafts.
He might just be the second coming of Bobby Orr. He might be.
Right-handed too.
Huge.
Because that matters. It does with defensemen.
So
you've got 1, 3, 4, 5, and 8. You're still missing 2, 6, 7, 9, and 10.
Interesting. Who are some of the best young players in the league right now? Matvei Michkov.
Matvei Michkov was an honorable mention.
AI's out here giving honorable mentions?
Yeah, they threw out a couple honorable mentions.
Ooh, interesting. Ivan Demidov.
Ivan Demidov, number 10.
Okay. Not going to be as good as McDavid in 10 years, but you know what? He'll take it. Who else is looking good right now? So I still have one guy left that's undrafted as well.
Yeah.
That I don't know if I know a lot of guys that are undrafted. That one might be really tough. I mean, let's go for it. Let's say Zane Parekh.
Zane Parekh is not on the list.
Okay. That was the one I was least confident in so far, so that makes some sense. If Parek's not on there, I doubt it, but I'm going to throw out a Zeev BU anyway.
No. Good guess. Fair. I don't hate the guess.
I don't know if we even have any goalies on the list, but
Okay, actually, throw out a guess.
I'm gonna go for a Dustin Wolf.
Ooh, I like that guess. I can tell you though that there is no goalies on the list.
Ah, fair enough.
But
Fair
I
enough.
didn't want to say it because I did want to see who you would have thrown out as your first goalie for who you think it would have been. I was curious
Wolf's
to know
really
that.
one of the only really great guesses because he's so good already. But in 10 years, most of the goalies are going to be either out of the league or in the twilight of their career because they
Yeah,
develop so late. Like the only
yeah,
other ones I was thinking of were, guys like Trey Augustine, Askarov. Like there's only really a
yeah.
handful.
That you could really go from. Yeah, you're still searching
So
for number 2, 6, 7, and 9. And if you need any hints, I can give some hints.
he's only 26 right now. I'm gonna go with Cale Makar.
Cale Makar, not on the list, surprisingly.
Really? I
No
mean, he
Cale
will be
Makar.
36, but I don't know. He's pretty good.
Pretty damn good. I was kind of shocked when he wasn't on there.
McKinnon is 29, so he'll be 39. But if McDavid was on there, I'll say Nathan McKinnon.
Nathan McKinnon is not on the list.
Oh, tough scenes in Colorado.
Year
Man,
2035, Avs will probably be a bottom. They'll be going through a rebuild.
yeah, I guess they
I had
pretty
to
much
guess
have to be
by
at that
that
point.
point. Unless maybe we see a McKinnon Makar trade, and if that's the case, who knows? That'd be crazy. But I doubt it.
Doubtful. You know what? Let's do this the smart way. Let's go. I am looking at teams on cap wages here just to see their names
Mhm.
to help think. And I'm going to go with Rasmus Dahlin. He'll be 35. He'll probably be a 5-time cup winner somewhere other than Buffalo. Like, I feel like it
Rasmus
makes sense.
Dahlin, good shot on the 5 cups once he gets out of Buffalo, is not on the list.
Oof. Leo Carlson.
Leo Carson was a honorable mention on the list.
Okay, well, at least I'm back to getting somebody who's near the list. Adam Fantilli?
Adam Fantilli, honorable mention.
Oh, man. Are these a little bit more established guys? Am I thinking a little bit too hard of a prospect?
Two of them I would say are already established.
But still rather young?
Guys in like, yeah. One has yet to play an NHL game, and the other one has yet to be drafted.
So two of them are NHL players. One is
a drafted
like
player,
a prospect for a team, and one is completely undrafted.
Yeah.
All right. Just because I have his name on my mind, I'm gonna go Wyatt Johnston.
Wyatt Johnston is not on the list. I like that guess though. I love the Wyatt Johnston respect.
I can't believe he's only 22, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, right.
Oh man, what do we got here? Cole Caulfield. I don't even know.
Cole Caulfield is not on the list. No.
Slavkovsky. I'm gonna throw him out there while we're at it.
No, Slavkovsky.
It's tough. Oh, how old is? Oh, he's still got to be fairly young. Jack Hughes.
No Jack Hughes.
Oh, I thought for sure that was one of the two.
No Jack Hughes. I can tell you positioning for them.
Yeah. Let's give you some hints.
You're searching for 2 centermen and 1 defenseman, and then a forward, because I don't know the exact position for the undrafted player, but he's a forward.
Okay, so 2 centers and a defenseman.
Yeah.
What's his face? Oh, I'm zeroing in on him. What's
his face?
Where the hell is he on the list? What's his name?
Come on, yeah. Throw out what's his face. It's got to be him.
I can't even remember if this is the guy I'm thinking of, weirdly enough. Ryan Leonard?
Washington guy?
Yeah.
It is. Ryan Leonard is not on the list.
Is he their big young player coming
Yep.
up? Okay.
Yeah.
I couldn't remember if I was like misremembering to somebody else. This is a bit tougher than I thought. I don't think I'll be able to get the undrafted guy, unfortunately. I'm not sure if I know any other prospects at the moment. I haven't looked
I can't
into
tell you.
the
It is a little
future
bit
ones.
tough. He's a top prospect in 2028.
Oh God, younger than DuPont.
Yeah.
Like I've
15
probably
years old.
heard his name once or twice, but
Yeah, I knew that
wouldn't be
one
able
would
to
be
figure it.
a bit tough.
That's fair. Artyom Levshinov?
He was an honorable mention, actually. I was kind of surprised by that. I didn't think he would even be sniffing around this list, but they did have him as an honorable mention.
Interesting. Cutter Gauthier?
No Cutter Gauthier.
This is a tough one. Oh, you know what? Beckett Seneca.
No Beckett
He was a
Seneca.
reach in the draft. No, they don't think he's going to be huge. 2 forwards and the defenseman is the one that's a prospect.
Nope.
Or like he's like not an established NHLer.
Oh, the defenseman is. I would say at this point now.
Oh, okay.
Gotta be, yeah. One of the centermen is a prospect.
I see. This is Matthew Schaefer.
No. Not on the list. Not on the list.
My
Close.
God.
Close.
How am I freaking close?
Very close.
Oh man. So is his name like Matthew, or is he on
right
the
underneath
Islanders?
him? Right underneath him. I don't know if that helps, but
There's so many Matts.
it's got nothing to do with the name. I can tell you though.
It's not.
Yeah, nothing to do with the name.
Is it on the team?
No. No, I can also say that. Right underneath Matthew Schaefer.
Oh, Michael Misa.
Michael Misa, number 7.
Under him in draft.
Which I was kind of surprised by that as well, actually.
It makes sense. He looks like he's gonna be pretty freaking good.
He does look pretty fucking good. There's the what you should get at least one more. And when you get it, you'll be like, holy shit, how did I? But one of them, well, aside from the prospect, the other centerman, I don't think I would have got it. If I'm being honest, I don't think I would have got it.
Well, I mean, that at least makes me feel better about not getting it. So there's one NHL player left and one. No, 2.
There's two. Two are both established players now. When I say established, it means like they're full timers. They're not going back to the minors or whatever. Like that.
Okay. Are either of them like more than established? Like are either of them elite players already?
I think you can make the argument, yeah. For at least one. The other one I definitely think will be.
Okay, fair enough. Just trying to like weed out a bunch of guesses of guys like, Draisaitl, Matthews, stuff like that.
Yeah, still quite young players. Still very quite young.
Oh God, AI, what are you doing to me? Frickin' Rutger McGrody, Alexander Nikishin?
No Nikishin. Have you named like everyone except this guy?
Like actually, I don't know, Connor Geeky,
No.
give me the team of one of the guys that either they're on or drafted them.
I won't do that, but I will say one of them already has an award.
One of them has an award, Lane Hudson.
Lane Hudson, number 6.
Even the AI glazes.
Number 6. Do you want me to just tell you who the outside prospect is?
Yeah, I won't be able to think of that.
Number 2, Maddox Schultz, drafted first overall by the Regina Pats this year.
Sorry,
Projected
Maddox
Schultz.
I've heard the name like once or twice, probably when he got picked first, but like that's it. Like, yeah, I definitely wouldn't have gotten to that.
Yeah,
Even
because
if
he
you
was only
told me
like he was
Maddox, I
just
wouldn't have
drafted
came up with it.
like he was just drafted in the WHL like 4 months ago or something.
Yeah.
And they're already
probably,
like, 10 years he'll be the second best player in the league.
yeah, I mean, you have to be pretty young to be the top guy, you know? There's always a bigger fish.
Number 9 is the toughest
left.
one. It is by far the toughest one.
The last one that I haven't got is the toughest.
Yeah. This was the one that I wouldn't have got.
Okay. Is this guy a center?
He is a center. Yeah.
Is it? Okay. Just gonna try and rapid fire a bunch of guys that it could possibly be. He's played times at center. I'll say, I don't know, Kent Johnson.
No.
Uh,
Kind of maybe in a similar tier as a guy like Kent Johnson, though. You could say almost maybe just a step above.
a step above a Kent Johnson. Okay. So probably not a Marco Casper then at that point.
No.
Who's a little above him? Maybe a Quinton Byfield?
Not a Byfield. I like that guess.
I was really hopeful as soon as I thought of him. He's only 22.
I can give you a hint here.
Does Yager come back?
No. This player at number 9 has only played 2 seasons in the NHL, but has played on 2 different teams.
2 different teams, but only 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Interesting.
If that helps. It's kind of like a fuck you hint, but it is a good hint, actually.
You know what? The funny thing is, as soon as you said it, I was like, I bet this is almost like a trick hint. Like I'm thinking a guy like a Clayton Keller, like a guy who played for Arizona and Utah kind of thing. But I don't know if they have any guys that really fit that description or anything. Dylan Genther, I don't think he's a center.
He is not.
He plays wing.
Damn good winger, though.
Did I say Cutter Gauthier yet?
Yeah, you already threw out Cutter Gauthier.
Did I throw out a Trevor Zegras?
Not Zegras. Zegras has been a lot longer than 2 years.
Oh, yeah, right.
He's a veteran.
Yeah, you're so right about that.
You were close. You were sniffing around the guy, though. You're right in there.
Noah Dobson?
No.
I was thinking back to the Schaefer thing, and then I was talking about top D men over on the Islanders. How was I sniffing around him? Like the teams I was guessing?
Yeah.
I've guessed a lot of teams at this point.
Recently, though. Because again, only played two years in the league, but on 2 different teams.
Two separate teams. I was guessing a lot of Blue Jackets recently, but have they acquired anybody?
Out west more.
Out to the west. Out to the west.
You named 2 of his teammates already, or you threw their names out at least.
Is it probably not Jason Robertson? He's been more than 2 years.
Yeah.
Who's only played 2 years and is like good at this point?
I would say he's pretty good.
Yeah, like you said, he's a tier above Kent Johnson, and I mean, I'm higher than on what normal, but like that's still a pretty.
When you hear the player, you'd be like, okay, yeah, he's like just a tier above. Like if you were like ranking them, he'd probably be like 1 tier higher, just on a bit more established
Right.
in his 2 years. Drafted 3rd
Can I?
overall.
Oh, that's a good hint. God, who's drafted 3rd overall lately? I said Seneca. He was 3rd. Who was 3rd? Not this most recent draft, but the year before that. Before that, it was Celebrini, Levshinov.
That was the Seneca year.
That was it.
He's a pretty rad dude. One might say he's pretty.
Erratic bonk.
No. I think I did him in the 2 real 2 fake actually.
In the
I think he was
real
one of the I think he was one of the guys I threw. Not like this player, like the Radic Bonk. I'm pretty sure I used him.
Oh, is it Logan Cooley?
Logan Cooley.
There we go.
Logan Cooley, number 9. I like that one was so.
That's
you can
for
maybe
AI.
make
That's a
sense
fun
of it,
pick.
but
That's a
yeah,
fun
right.
pick.
Would you agree though? Like probably a tier above a Kent Johnson right now.
I
think I would.
Look up his stat. I would say I kind of like Kent Johnson more as a player at the moment, but like as far as potential, I'd say he's about 1 tier higher in potential. But I also don't know what Cooley did last year. 65 points in 75 games in Utah. As soon as you gave that hint, I looked all through Utah's lineup because he's down with all the depth guys because he's still on his ELC.
Yeah.
I was never gonna find him between Liam O'Brien and Michael Kunk. Oh my god, what a name!
What a name! What a handle!
And he's 2 above Cameron He Big.
Yeah.
Guy's last name is just He Big. That's great.
That
Please
was the
tell
one
me
that I
he's taller.
saw. I was like, damn, that's a pretty.
That's a bit
Pretty
more of an out there pick
there
for sure.
one. Yeah,
Like you could
compared to,
guess
like, the
Celebrini and
rest.
stuff, but
Yeah.
I
Lane
don't
Hudson, you
I
should
don't
have
hate the
gotten
idea.
much sooner.
I should have. He just won the Calder. It makes so much sense.
Yeah, but
I even guessed a bunch of guys on that team, but I didn't guess the defenseman.
Yeah. And then the Maddox Schultz one, yeah, that was the one I was like, that one's just tough because again, like guy's only 15 years old.
Yeah.
Fuck. But they're high on him. I think he's gonna be a damn good player.
Yeah.
But that was a fun experiment. Maybe we'll do this every offseason and we'll see if the list changes or not.
Yeah. Or you know what?
We'll
You can change the prompt as well. You know, you can in 5 years, who do you think is going to be the best winger, or who do you think is going to be the best pure goal scorer in the league? And you know, maybe AI will find weird ways to convey what it thinks a pure goal scorer is or something. But like, you know, you could maybe tweak it a little bit and see if you can get an interesting list.
Yeah.
These are the things I don't mind using AI for. You know, there's a lot of people who like they just hate AI in general, and it's like, unfortunately, it's here to stay. We're not getting rid of it, right?
Yeah, it's not going anywhere.
Stealing people's art and especially reselling it using AI is just brutal. But you know, for coming up with a list of generated what the computer can come up with for something like that, that's pretty fun. I like that.
Yeah. Just for fun here, I typed this in. I'll give you like 2 guesses here. For the fangirlies that are listening. I asked, who's the top 10 sexiest players in the NHL? I'll let you throw out like 1 or 2 guesses and see if you snag any of them.
Current player?
One is retired.
How
it says
recently?
Retired, but too iconic to ignore.
Ooh, really? Is it recent retired?
I'm just going to guess.
It's Pat Maroon.
Couple years.
Last couple years. What, like a Jumbo Joe Thornton?
That's who I would have picked. I don't know the exact year he retired, actually. Like 2021, 22?
22, maybe? I think he was on the Panthers when we swept him in the first round, which I think was 21. So that might have been his last go.
Mm-hmm. Just sort of,
Crosby.
you just sort of cup. Crosby's an honorable mention. He retired in 2020. Actually, wow, damn.
Wow, that long ago? Jeez. Been crazy. He's been just vibing for a while. William Nylander. That guy's got some race.
Nylander, they had 7.
Yeah, okay, he's on there. I'm trying to think of who has Riz around the league. I don't know. Jack Hughes, Pasternak.
Jack Hughes actually isn't on the list.
There's no Kachucks on there, right?
There is.
No,
There
no.
Number 10, Brady Tkachuk. That's why I was laughing. Number 10,
Brady on there.
Brady Tkachuk. It says not conventional model handsome, but
No
oozes rugged charisma and team leader appeal. He's fun.
No, yeah, he does look like
the rugged charisma.
No, yeah, he looks like the hottest plumber you know for sure.
I can go through it just for anyone who's curious. Honorable mentions was Crosby, Shesterkin, Barzal, Caulfield, Pasternak, Brady Tkachuk 10.
Lundqvist has got to be on there.
Lundqvist. He was the retired. He was the retired at 4.
I was like, as soon as you said Shesterkin, I was like, you know what? They put Lundqvist front and center every time he's on the screen because everyone knows.
Yeah. 9, Zegras, 8, Bedard, 7, you got Nylander, 6, Tyler Seguin, 5, Leon Draisaitl, 4 was Lundqvist, 3 was Roman Josi, 2, Cale Makar, and 1, Mr. Cheeks himself, Austin Matthews.
There's some not bad picks in there. You know, a Tyler Seguin, you know, throwing him in there, that's not bad. Brady Tkachuk is wild.
I might have to make that like my bio or some night. Ooze rugged charisma.
You should just like take a screenshot of those words and put it underneath a picture of Brady Tkachuk and just send it out.
Like, I'm so glad I looked that. Fuck, that was fun. All right,
that's good. That's our next viral TikTok for sure.
Might have to be. If you want to check out any of our TikToks, and any of our other socials, the links to all of our socials are in the description across all episodes, across all platforms. Braden, this was a fun one. Not a lot of news around in the league as it is the off season, but we still managed to make a fun episode here and have some laughs. But it is that time now where we ride off into the sunset before Friday, and I must ask you for your final thoughts.
Final thoughts. Brady Tkachuk, 10th most handsome NHL player. And this includes Lundqvist, which means in hockey's history, not current players. That means of all time. So, you know, maybe at him on socials. Just let him know he's good looking.
Yeah, let him know he's a dog.
Someone's got to tell him.
But someone's got to. But that does it for this episode. Once again, hope you all enjoyed. And as always, we will see all of you lovely people out on the ice later this week.